This next lesson deals with angles that are neither inscribed nor central. These types of angles are formed by intersecting chords and are inside the circle but are not inscribed on the circle, meaning their vertex is not on the circle. If you look here and look at E, E is not the center and it is not on the circle, which means all these angles are inside but not inscribed. Now there is a special relationship here, and I'm going to give it to you. The relationship is that if this angle here is congruent to this angle here, the measure of those angles is the average of the two intercepted arcs. Now, if you remember, these angles here are vertical angles, which means they have to be the same. I'm going to make a really bad bow tie. This is my bow tie method. So when I have my bow tie, you could see that my bow tie was not tied symmetrically. The left side is bigger than the right side. Well, to make that better, we take the average of the two. By average, that means we're going to add those arcs and divide by 2, or add them and multiply by a half. So the measurement of angle AED, which is this angle right here, is equal to half of arc AD and BC. Now another way we could write this, because I know some of us don't like fractions, is we could say that it's equal to arc AD plus arc BC divided by 2. Dividing by 2 is the same as multiplying by a half. So you want to look for the bow tie, and then you want to look for the arcs of the bow tie. You're going to add them together and divide by 2, and that will give you both of these angles. Remember, the measurement of angle AED is equal to the measurement of angle BEC because, again, they are vertical angles. So this is kind of like a 2-for-1. Once you know one, you know them both. Here we go. We have an angle on the inside of the circle, but it is not the center. It is not the center and it is not inscribed. Therefore, these angles are the same. They are internal, but they are not inscribed. I'm going to make a bow tie out of this. I have a left side that's much bigger than the right side. So to find that angle on the inside, X is going to be equal to the left arc, which is 80, plus the right arc, which is 40, and then I'm going to divide by 2. So X is equal to 120 divided by 2, which is 60, which means X is equal to 60. And if X is equal to 60, this angle here is also equal to 60. Now, just to go off on a tangent, once I know that that angle is 60, I could determine the angle right next to it, because those two together have to add to 180, which means this one would be 120, just in case they ever ask. Okay, the next one. I need to figure out this angle here, X. Well, I know that angle will be the same as this angle, which means this bow tie that I'm about to make here in blue would be what I would need to find that X. Unfortunately, I don't know the left arc or the right arc. I do know what the arc here of 50 is, as well as the arc down here. Now the question is, can I make a bow tie out of this? I certainly can. So I'm actually going to have to work backwards to get forwards, meaning if I figure out these angles, then I would get its supplement to give me X. So the measurement of angle, we'll call it DEC. DEC is right here. I'm going to put a question mark there. That's that angle, is equal to 50 plus 160 divided by 2. Those are the arcs of the bow tie. And it's only going to give me the purple angles. So that's going to give me 210 divided by 2, which is 105, which means these angles here are each 105. If they are 105, the angles right next to them are their supplements, meaning these two angles here have to add to 180. So therefore, x is going to be equal to 180 minus 105, which means it's equal to 75 degrees. So again, sometimes you have to work backwards before you can go forwards. The first one gave us the arcs. We just applied it to the formula. The second one, we used the formula for another pair of angles, and then we found the supplement. The third one is actually a little similar to number 1, but still is a little bit different. So x is this arc. Now we also have this 38. We can make a bow tie out of this. If we make a bow tie out of this, we actually know what the angle measures. Now remember, these are not central angles and they are not inscribed angles, but they are inside the circle formed by two intersecting chords. So we can use the formula we learned earlier. The formula says that the measurement of the angle, so in this case, measurement of angle AED, that inside angle, will be equal to the two arcs. So the left arc is x, added together, so x plus the arc to the right, which is 38, and then divided by 2. We know the measurement of angle AED. The measurement of angle AED is 70, which is equal to x plus 38 divided by 2. And now I prefer to get rid of that denominator of 2. So if I multiply the right side by 2, I have to multiply the left side by 2, which gives me 140 is equal to, these 2's go away, they reduce to 1, and that leaves us with x plus 38. Now to get x alone, I'm going to subtract 38 from both sides, which means I'm left with 102. So that means this arc here is 102. You could quickly check yourself. If this were multiple choice, you could plug in and you could say, okay, well, let's see, 102 plus 38 divided by 2. 102 plus 38 is 140. When I divide that by 2, I get 70, which is what I needed to get. Okay, and then this last one, which will probably have a little bit of a curveball as well. We have this left x, this arc here on the left, is what we need to find. Unfortunately, we don't know the angle it corresponds to, but we can figure it out. If we know that that's 94, we could figure out its supplement, meaning 180 minus 94. That will give us the angle right next to it. So 180 minus 94 is going to give us 86. That means this angle here is 86. Now let's look. I know this angle, which means I also know this angle. Can I make a bow tie here with the x? I can. I have that piece of the bow tie and this piece of the bow tie. So I have a bow tie. Now we know what the angle measures. So the angle will be equal to arc plus arc divided by 2. Left pink arc is x plus right pink arc is 58 divided by 2. We know the angle. The angle is 86. 86 equals x plus 58 divided by 2. Again, to get rid of that denominator of 2, let's multiply by 2. So 86 times 2 is 172 is equal to 2 divided by 2 is 1, x plus 58. Now to get x alone, you're going to subtract 58 from 172, leaving us with 114. So this is the formula you need to memorize when you have angles inside of a circle that are not inscribed on the circle. you would make a bow tie, add the arcs, divide by 2, set it equal to that angle, and then fill in the blanks and work from there. Go ahead and work on the quizzes. Do your best. Attend the extra helps if need be.